Most people think negotiation is about power plays, winning deals, or closing business contracts, right? But here's a fact that might shock you. Every single day you're negotiating, whether you realise it or not. In fact, studies show that the average person engages in up to 10 negotiations a day without even knowing it. Yep, from choosing where to eat dinner with your partner to getting your kids to do their homework. Negotiation is everywhere. Today, we're diving into something that could completely change how you approach your closest relationships. How the art of negotiation can actually build stronger, more fulfilling personal connections. Now, when you think of negotiation, you probably imagine business deals or boardroom standoffs, right? Maybe even hostage situations. But what if I told you that learning the same techniques FBI negotiators use could help you communicate better with your spouse, your partner, your friends, or even your kids? And not only that, using these techniques will deepen trust, resolve conflicts, and create more joy in your relationships. Stick around, because I'm going to share some powerful tips from a recent read of mine, Chris Voss's book, Never Split the Difference, that will change the way you think about negotiation forever. Before we jump into the principles from Chris Voss's book, Never Split the Difference, let's talk about why negotiation is even important in the first place. Negotiation is simply the art of influencing outcomes. It's not about winning or losing, but about understanding the needs and desires of the other person while communicating your own. When you think about it, relationships thrive on mutual understanding, compromise, and empathy. All elements of a good negotiation. Whether you're navigating a disagreement with your partner, asking for help from a friend, or even deciding on weekend plans with family, negotiation happens more often than you think. And when done right, it can lead to stronger, deeper connections. Negotiation isn't about manipulation or tricking someone into giving what you want. It's about building relationships where both sides feel heard and respected. As Brené Brown says, daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves, even when we risk disappointing others. And that's what's good negotiation does. It creates space for both sides to feel valued, even when tough conversations arise. Now, a lot of people don't consider negotiation as something useful in personal relationships because they associate it with being manipulative or hard selling. We've been conditioned to think that negotiation is about tricking someone into getting what we want, but in reality, it's far from that. Chris Voss, a former FBI hostage negotiator, flips this narrative on its head. He shows us that negotiation at its core is about listening, empathy, and clear communication. All the things that are essential to a healthy relationship. In fact, he calls it tactical empathy. It's about understanding the emotions and perspectives of the other person. And this creates outcomes where everyone feels heard and valued. So let's dive into the top 5 principles from Chris Voss's book, Never Split the Difference, and explore how you can apply them in your personal life. First, there's mirroring. This is probably the simplest yet most powerful technique. Mirroring is about repeating the last few words the other person said. It shows that you're listening and encourages them to open up more. In a personal context, imagine your friend says, "I'm feeling overwhelmed with work." You mirror back, "Overwhelmed with work?" And they'll likely elaborate, giving you deeper insight into their feelings. It's about creating a space for them to express themselves fully. Next, we have tactical empathy, which goes beyond just listening. It's about putting yourself in the other person's shoes and acknowledging their emotions without necessarily agreeing with them. You might say, "It sounds like you're feeling really stressed about this project," or "I can see the situation has been really tough for you." This shows that you're validating their feelings, and in personal relationships, validation is key. People want to feel understood, not just heard. Third, we have labeling, which is about identifying the other person's emotions and calling them out in a non-confrontational way. If you're sensing frustration from your partner, you could say, "It seems like you're frustrated," or "It sounds like this is bothering you a lot." Labeling helps diffuse emotions and creates an environment where honest communication can happen. And trust me, in any personal relationship, labeling emotions can take conversations to a much deeper level. At number 4, we have one of Chris Voss's funnier techniques, but it works wonders. He suggests using a calm, soothing tone of voice when discussing emotional or difficult topics. Think of that smooth late-night radio voice, calm, non-threatening and reassuring. Whether you're discussing finances with a partner or addressing a disagreement with a friend, using this tone helps to keep the conversation grounded and reduces tension. Lastly, we have the idea of using no-orientated questions. Instead of asking questions that force a yes, like, can you help me with this? Try reframing it to invite a no. For example, would it be ridiculous if I asked your help with this? Asking questions that give the other person the power to say no makes them feel less pressured and more in control. It's a subtle but powerful way to ease tension in relationships. Now that we've covered these 5 principles, let's talk about how to apply them. In your everyday interactions, whether it's at home or with friends, start practicing tactical empathy. Really listen, mirror what the other person is saying, and label their emotions. If a conversation feels like it's heating up, remember that late night FM DJ voice to keep things calm. The goal isn't to win the conversation, but to create a space where both you and the other person feel heard, respected, and understood. That's what builds trust. Oprah Winfrey says, real integrity is doing the right thing, knowing that nobody's going to know whether you did it or not. When we communicate with empathy and understanding, even when no one is watching, we create a foundation of trust. And trust is the cornerstone of any strong relationship. Negotiation isn't just a skill for the boardroom or for getting what you want. It's a tool that, when used with empathy and care, can create deeper connections and help you navigate even the toughest conversations. So next time you're in a tricky situation with someone you care about, try out these principles from Chris Voss and see how they can transform your relationships. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below with your thoughts on how you've used negotiation to strengthen your personal connections. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm Dr. Rakish Rana, the Clear Coach.